What's going on, Guardians? If you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of the Ashen Wake exotic arms for Titan. What's so cool about this is whenever you're on your Solar Titan, you use the fusion grenades, they will explode immediately on impact and you will get more grenade energy out of it. I always liked this with well mods, but now that we have this Buildcraft 2.0 and all these different other mods with the orbs of power, I really want to do a setup around it. So far, some of this content has been a little bit more challenging, I would say, for me, and I'm absolutely steamrolling it over with this new setup. I'm going to go over everything involved with it, what you need to use, and what you could use, maybe substitute in for yourself if you just want to try something else out. Quick thing that you can follow me over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Byrdman778, and just give a thumbs up on the video and let me know another cool setup you would want to try out, and let's just jump right in. So let's go over this build, and first off, let's actually just look at the Sunbreaker class. Pretty much everything you can just use whatever you want in these aspects, but I always like to use a throwing hammer just because it's going to constantly work with that just bonk mechanic that is so great about Solar Titan. Obviously fusion grenades, because what else are you going to use with a thing that gives you a plus effect on fusion grenades? LOL. Aspect wise, I always go with Roaring Flames for that extra boost to our abilities and ignitions and all of our damage, and then also the Solar Invictus so that we get those sunspots. This is just going to be great for all your energies, getting those boosted higher and just really working well with those Orb of Power mods that we're going to have on. For the fragments, I'm always using Ember of Torches. Our powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant, constantly bonking. We're going to be getting that radiant always activating. Solar Grenade Final Blows Cure You. This is a new fragment that you're going to have to buy. What I really like about this is it just helps with the overall survivability of this class. Your Solar Ignition spreads Scorch to affected targets. We really like that just to constantly keep those high Scorch stacks. And then also Ember of Searing, defeating Scorch targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Really like using those fire sprites just for that extra energy. Again, making sure that we're constantly having that ability to have our grenade to be thrown and just do a lot of damage. Going over what weapons you really need to use, for the top slot, I just like the Partner Dust, like a grenade launch or something like that. I can just pop it real quick for some damage and then go straight into my Callus mini tool. This is going to be one of my favorites. Obviously, you had to play Season of the Haunting to get this. A lot of people will have this, but something that you could maybe sub in for is just any type of just like solar weapon in general within the slot. Just be great, just because we're going to be getting a lot of stacks of armor charges that will give us some extra damage. But I just, again, Callus mini tool is just great. And then I just have a Gallahorn on. I don't really care, it doesn't really matter. I just have this on just because it's obviously it's Gallahorn, whatever, it's gonna work with all of our extra stuff. But going over into the build itself, on my helmet I am using obviously some discipline, get us boosted up, but I'm using hands on, gain super energy on melee kills, and then Ashes assets, just constantly having that flow between that, making sure I'm always having my super available to use. And then Harmonic Siphon for rapid solar weapon final blows, create an orb of power, using my Callus mini tool, making sure I have those stacks. On my gloves, I'm going to be using Impact Induction. This is a really important one. Causing damage to your melee attack, reduces grenade cooldown, constantly bonking, causing damage. It doesn't have to be kills, it's just doing damage. Will make sure that we're getting our grenade back faster. I like to use Fastball just because it works really well with the Ashen Wake, getting those huge chucks on the grenade that will just, you know, right into a group of people, anything like that. I think is really important. And then Heavy Hand is another very important one. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power. Again, constantly making sure that we're getting our abilities up and also keeping those armor charges. On our chest piece, I'm going to be using 3 charged ups. This is going to be one where you can maybe like swap in some like damage reduction depending on how you feel, but I just like having those, like, I mean, all those stacks that I'm having, purely off the fact that it'll just make sure that I'm constantly keeping the uptime. Onto our boots, I'm going to be having the Solar Weapon Surge, 2 of those, giving me a 17.5% boost to my solar weapons, and then stacks on stacks, picking up an orb of power grants 1 additional stack of armor charge. Just good to have on that on. And then going down to my class item, 2 time dilations, just to make sure that those stacks last as long as humanly possible. And then an explosive finisher. I like this for whenever, like, maybe I chuck my hammer too far away or something like that, I'm able to get a finisher on an enemy, immediately get my grenade back regardless, and then use that ability energy from on my grenade to then get my bonk hammer back, and then just repeat the cycle. Having this really just solid all around flow, making sure that I'm constantly getting orbs of power, getting my grenade, and doing as much damage with bonk hammer as humanly possible. Obviously, we have a barrier covered on this by using the radiant effect, and then just using the SMG gives me that overload damage. For the unstoppable, you could actually, I mean, if you wanted to, you could take off the hammer and use the fire strike instead to cover that. Maybe just create a separate file with that on it. But I just think that most of the time someone's gonna have that covered, or you know, you can just always use Gallahorn on them. Thanks so much for watching this video. Again, if there's any cool setups that you're seeing that you want to like maybe have an extra explanation on or anything like that, just comment down below. It's been a while since I made any videos or anything like that, so just getting back in the swing of things. So really just wanting to try out as much Titan stuff as humanly possible, make some builds, talk about some theory, all that fun stuff. Maybe we might talk about Harder Than Most Light and why maybe they nerfed it too much. I had always been a proponent for maybe nerfing it, but maybe they did a little bit too much. But regardless, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you have a great night, day, whatever it may be.